Two, one. Wait, one. Now we're recording with my buddy Jack McDermott, who honestly, you're one of the people I've known the longest in my life. I sat next to you in fifth grade in Miss Woodall's class. Jack's been on here twice before. Jack has taught me about cryptocurrency. I still feel that I am crypto currently challenged. And but yeah, brother, what's going on, man?
You know what? Not much. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people. I feel like in 2021 and 2020, because of the recent surge in prices, tons of people have learned about what cryptocurrency is and are starting to learn more about it. But
Yeah.
I think a ton of people feel lost and understanding what it is. So you're not alone. Um, but I'm doing well.
Hell yeah, man. So you when you texted me and said that you're going into crypto full time, correct?
Yes.
What all does that entail?
So I actually started full time at Token Tax, which is a cryptocurrency tax firm, 3 weeks ago. Um, and so I'm working full time there, and then I have other just crypto projects I've worked on over the past year that I keep up with when I can on nights and weekends too.
Mm-hmm. Fuck yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's sort of what it's entailing for me. I started the Karma credits.
Mm-hmm.
I Then I transitioned, and we actually last thing I've been doing in that space is just I've been minting a few new tokens called affirmation, some fitness tokens, one talking about climate change on this new application that's really great. And well, I wish I had when I started Comic Credits. It just came out, but it's really great. So that's what I'm keeping up with my side projects.
So why is it that crypto's going through the roof? And I know that just sounds like the most generic
Yeah,
buzzword, BuzzFeed title, cryptocurrency is the new gold, but like even normies like me, it trickles down to me. And if a news story trickles down to me, that means it's big because I don't actively pay attention to shit. So,
yeah. So
yeah.
the biggest reason is it's cryptocurrency is starting to gain mass adoption. In the fall, PayPal accepted Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies where you can pay people with them or receive them on PayPal. In the fall, also, the government worked with the people of Venezuela. Actually, the government worked with the cryptocurrency to distribute aid and relief to people affected by Maduro in Venezuela, and their cryptocurrency hyperinflated. So government helped the U.S. government had actually a policy, a foreign policy that involved cryptocurrency on a mass scale to help people in need. There's been other integrations as well. Um, tons of tons of integrations over the past year with big businesses with a cryptocurrency called Chainlink. So it's just gaining steam, and people aren't afraid of it anymore. People are using it for good things and to integrate and help people and grow wealth.
Hmm.
That's probably the biggest reason it's sort of becoming the prices are rising. It's not based on speculation or hype. It's based on value that's being provided to people.
Hmm.
That's what
And
that's what I would say.
yeah. And can you go back to what you said affected by Maduro?
Uh-huh.
Is that
So
the president?
so that Maduro was the dictator
Oh,
that cracked down on Venezuela and got the alternative leader Gallardo led a sort of revolution against that tried to free people and have a democracy. Um, their currency, their currency in Venezuela, hyperinflated, and so their economy was just devastated by having just a hyperinflated currency. And so cryptocurrency helps the people have a currency that is not inflated and is just they can use and transact with other people on the same and just help them out of poverty and just help them survive without Maduro cracking down or Maduro controlling the currency, who's controlled by a dictator.
hmm,
It's, and so it's a huge way that we helped people in need
hmm,
by providing them with economics money that desperately needed that isn't controlled by a dictator.
hmm. Is and can crypto inflate?
So Bitcoin is locked in at 21 million that will ever be created. So that's why people call Bitcoin sort of the gold of cryptocurrency, or the new gold, is because it has a capped amount.
Okay.
The US dollar inflates because there's not a capped amount. The Federal Reserve can just print money
Right.
ad
Yeah.
infinitum. That's actually an argument that down the line, maybe not in the next 5-10 years, but maybe in 20 years, it happens to everyone. It happened to Brazil, hyperinflation. Um, it happened to Germany. It happened to Venezuela. Right now, we're sitting at a $22 trillion national debt, and with starting with Obama and through Trump, it's been a $4 trillion increase in debt every year.
Jeez.
And that whole debt is backed by the promise that we're going to eventually reduce that debt, which is not looking like it's possible with Biden and the move towards away from fiscal responsibility on both parties. Um, and so um, and so Bitcoin is now, there are certain cryptocurrencies that do inflate at a small basis, but that never hyperinflate. So that's why people think crypto Bitcoin, especially sort of the new gold, is because it's a capped amount.
And I feel so stupid, but 30
Also
years
stupid.
okay. At 30 years old, I finally, because I would always kind of poke fun at gold because I would think, people would say cash money is worthless, but gold is where it's at. And in my mind, I always looked at it as like, no, like ammunition, drinking water, and food are real value. Everything else, I'm like, gold is shiny, you can't eat it and you can't burn it.
Yeah,
At 30 years, I remember my cousin looked at me this past Thanksgiving and goes, yeah, but it can't be inflated. And I was
yeah.
3 decades
So
into my experience on Earth. I was like, oh, that's why it can't be inflated. And I was like, oh, Jesus.
let me put you an example.
Sure.
It's crazy how valuable water is, but there's just an infinite amount of it. That's why it's free or so cheap. Let me put you a different example. Let's say an economy in a different way. I wanted to give you an orange for a potato, right? And then let's say we wanted to transact online. You're in a different state. We're talking over Zoom. I wanted to do it online. I could take my orange, if we're still doing the orange potato. Let's say we're trying to do it virtually, right? I could take a virtual orange and just make a million copies of it, right? So the orange I'm getting, you think as an act related to an actual orange, like the virtual orange relates to my actual orange. But if I make a million virtual oranges, but I only really have one orange, then it's worthless because I can just make a million of them, right? But the thing about Bitcoin does is that every person on the network verifies that I actually have an orange related to my virtual orange. So like everyone, and if I try to submit that to the network, they're going to reject it. It's not going to happen. So everyone makes sure that I'm not making multiple copies and inflating it.
Mm-hmm. Now, and again, maybe you need to give me a history lesson. By all means, Jack, take the reins of the conversation if you want. Um, with gold, why did we move away from the gold standard?
It doesn't really make a lot of sense. We stopped in the 60s. The gold standard from the time we're a country to the 1960s, money was backed by gold. So if you had to cash them out, there's a certain, either even ever small amount of gold that would back that dollar, right? That was proportional to that amount of money. I think it probably should not have been thrown out, because even if we have a lot more current dollars now, we could have still related to gold in the sense that it could have been still just a smaller fraction of the gold.
Yeah, like
So
atoms.
I don't know why we did that, but I think it was dumb. And so I think politicians just wanted ultimate power. I think, to inflate and deflate the currency, which probably sounded like a great idea when we were recovering from World War II and just needed to spur the economy.
Yeah,
But it's like with great power, it eventually corrupts.
yeah.
And that's the great thing about cryptocurrency, is that everyone has the power. So the whole network, when I mean decentralized, everyone has the power to verify that I'm not faking you out with a fake orange online. Like um, someone else could, it's everyone's responsibility, not just one person like Maduro or Trump or Biden. It's everyone's responsibility.
Hmm. And can crypto it so you said earlier it's not based on speculate, or the growth you were referring to was not based on speculation. So
Not in my
something,
opinion.
yeah, so something like let's say I don't know, let's say Trump didn't leave and, well, any uncertainty, right, that normally plunges the market. It doesn't even have to be politics. Fuck
Yeah,
it. Let's say,
I think like
yeah, LA falls into the ocean tomorrow.
during the riots when people invaded the White
Capital.
House, Bitcoin soared, and like there was like so much of like the
Wow.
more of like certainly in the U.S. government, like the more therefore more faith there is in like stuff that has to
Uh,
have to be backed by a government. There was so much like I feel like it's definitely inversed
okay. So
to
maybe during like crazy like climate change, like more people would maybe rent out or buy tickets at my, I have an underground bunker system. People are like, fuck,
yeah.
Tommy's bunkers are looking really good right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's all
Okay.
supply and demand.
Yeah. So could you manipulate that? Let's go to the nefarious, I guess, mechanisms of humanity. Could that be
Sure.
manipulated? Could that
It's
be
actually interesting.
manipulated?
There is a cryptocurrency called Augur, and it's basically a betting cryptocurrency. So you could make a prediction. So let's say anything that can happen, not just sports games, not just normal betting scenarios. So you can make a bet that um, let's say Donald Trump, will be punched in the face in the next year, right? And then you could go out and try to punch Donald Trump in the face,
Okay.
right? So in certain situations on like prediction markets, like
Predict
that
it.
that are that aren't regulated and just backed by corrupt people. So I think that's a possible error from the manipulation of betting markets. But the whole point of Bitcoin is that because everyone has an equal share, it's like everyone has equal power. Then it can't be manipulated by just one person or just one group.
Hmm.
Um, now there are Bitcoin is right controlled by the what's called Bitcoin miners, which create sort of expensive rigs of computers that sort of validate the transaction,
Uh-huh.
and they create what's called mining pools, where a group of people get together and combine all of their computer power to sort of have an influence, right? So you could be in a situation where you have on the Bitcoin network multiple a few small groups controlling parts of it, but um, anyone can enter, and other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum and other what's called proof of stake or different cryptocurrencies, or it's the whole point is decentralization. So it can happen, but not nearly as much as literally a currency controlled by a government or a central unit.
Now, let's say there was a state actor, a nation state trying to get involved. What if you had the funds of, say, the United States or China? Um, and could you go into it with like a petaflop computer, supercomputer, like a military grade supercomputer that they use to simulate nuclear weapons? Could you go in and fuck with that? Maybe do a little kickback to somebody?
The mining rigs like that are used on Bitcoin have to be like a certain computing power and like advanced. Like it's crazy. I was reading the other day of like that how much money the U.S. government wastes every year because they haven't updated their systems in 40 years. There's still like floppy disk usability in the Pentagon. Like it's crazy.
Jesus
There's
Christ.
like it's insane. Like I was looking into like the tons of talks about immigration and different policies going on. I was looking into like what the federal government spent, and like I think the most money they waste is the amount of time they spend every year because they don't update their system. So I don't think the governments in general have the capability to have an advanced computing system that would compete with everyone else.
I mean, I
Just
mean, maybe like a faction of the government. I don't mean the government as a whole. I mean, let's say,
sure.
like Oak Ridge, Tennessee, or Los Alamos, or wherever they do actually have like the world's fastest computers. Like, what if you got some guys within
No,
there?
it's not about the fastest computers. It's about
Okay,
the volume of computers and people, right? So it's
okay,
like it's about total number of people, total number of computers. It's not like about one supercomputer can crash a whole network. That's my point. It's like
okay,
everyone has
okay.
an equal, yeah, it's equalized and decentralized to where it's not really possible
Now,
to overpower it.
let's say you're a Bezos. Could you hire 10,000 people to buy 10,000 mining computers and
I
have?
mean, 10,000 is just like a drop in the bucket as far as that's like maybe like I don't I'm not an expert on it, but I would guess it's like 0.1%. You know, like,
Okay.
but like no one really has the like it would need to be pools of people and groups of people that are better than just one person. And also, if we wanted to talk about, I know I think we talked about Amazon last time, but if we wanted to diverge anyone in this podcast, I'm always an Amazon defender. I think they're a great company that done a ton of great things for humanity and people, especially during the pandemic. But just a little tangent, but
Yeah.
um,
Dude, I love Amazon. Personally, I'm not down with the whole kicking Parlor off. I think in general, I don't like
oh,
any kind
so
of sense.
dumb.
Yeah, I don't like censorship, but I also recognize that it's a private company. So,
Of course,
yeah.
yeah. Here's my I'm always torn between, no, I'm not torn, I'm like, here's the thing, I support free speech. Also, Twitter can censor whoever they want, Facebook can
Hmm.
censor whoever they want, anyone can censor whoever they want. Like, I'm
Yeah.
and creating my own businesses and karma credits and different stuff, I'm like, I can do whatever I want, you can't tell me what to do since
Yeah.
I'm a private company.
Yeah.
um
I
so
find that
like,
with this podcast. Sorry, I find that with this podcast
exactly.
where sometimes people will be like, "Yo, I want to come on," and I remember one guy emailed me. He was like, "I like to." He's like, "I got this business going where basically he said he was like a medium. He contacted the dead, and he was like, I was thinking maybe we could fake it around like 35-minute mark. I could go like, what's that?" And I remember I just thought I was like, "That's so sleazy," and I just said
Yep.
no. And he said, "Why
Yep.
not?" And I remember saying, that's the answer. And this is like, I am the dictator. This is my company. TPC
Yeah.
is my thing. And that is when I always go
Totally.
back to that when I see Twitter banning even the president. I'm like, that's somebody's thing that they
but
started in a room like this where it's mine. Fuck off. No
but
one's allowed to come on here. It's mine.
But
Yeah.
going back to cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
that's why cryptocurrency is the answer to that, because no one person controls it. No one can censor it. Everyone has equal power, and it's decentralized, and it's a different thing than a private company, because it's a network of people, and it's a money system that it's that's why it's cool. That's why people that are um, pro free speech and decentralized, like, and that's why people pro free speech support Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, because it gives people a lot of freedom.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
Like, it's like scary to me to think that, like, I think in like 5 or 10 years, and they're already being pressured to do this, like Visa, credit card companies are being pressured to not process transactions of people with certain political views. It's
That's
insane.
it's
Like,
that's dangerous. Like that's
it's, yeah, that's, and then it's like, then you need to go to Bitcoin because people can't do that to you. It's insane. Like,
yeah.
if this is why I think cancel culture is so dangerous, is because like it is like it's going to be a monsoon. It's like a gradual progression to making people's minds lives miserable who you disagree with, because it's like if you start it's like it can be as small as, like, if you don't consider to date someone that has a different point of view. That's like I don't like that, and also
Yeah.
don't like, to the extreme example of, um, extreme example of cutting off their bank access if they're
Yeah.
disagreed with a tweet you
Yeah.
had. It's
Yeah.
insane.
It's a weird like tightrope to walk because on one hand I'm like I truly am for just you're allowed to do whatever you want if that's your
Yeah,
business you can fuck
Visa
around.
can Visa can
Yeah.
do it. I
Yeah.
don't think they should, but they can. And then that's why we have Bitcoin, because you can't do that in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. That's why I've always said the answer to these Twitter and Facebook censoring people isn't to control them and try to take over their private business, which is wrong. It's to have
Create
other
something new.
Parlor. We're saying there's an app called Twetch on
Hmm.
cryptocurrency that is uncensored. We're saying I'm actually looking to potentially acquire a decentralized social media app. There's going to be just a yearning for it, and they're going to go. I
Hmm.
mean, no one I know currently uses Facebook anymore. They're migrating away.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
migrating.
Yeah. I mean Parlor was down but they said Parlor's going to come back up. There's Cloud Hub, there's MeWe or
Well, the Parler one was interesting because, so like, the Apple Store censored Parler and the Android store censored Parler, and it's like, Jesus, like,
that's the
guys,
danger
like,
to get that was a coordinated effort.
and it's like, okay, now we have to build our own app store. What the good thing is, it's called Ethereum, and on Ethereum, it's an app store essentially where you can create decentralized apps in an Ethereum app store that can't cancel you. So Ethereum
Mhm.
can't cancel any of its applications that were built on it. So that's why. the next step to a Parler would be, okay, I'm going to transfer Parler to Ethereum and create an application that's run by cryptocurrency that can't be blocked or censored. That's what Twitch is actually. I think I'm not sure, but yeah, the companies are like that are migrating towards that.
I kind of lean the way you lean. It's like what these companies are doing is terrible. Amazon Web Services, Apple, Google Play, all knocking Parler off
Yeah,
the same day is like, but at the same time, I am against the government stepping in saying this is how you have to run your business. I think we should just
yes,
let the free market of ideas create
and
something
it's
new.
called the free market, the high horse of it. Like the
Yeah.
cavalry's coming. Like Ethereum and
Yes.
these decentralized app stores are gonna be the solution.
And
And
they're gonna dissolve these archaic, monopolistic, kind of draconian things. They had their time in the limelight, but it's like Netflix kicking Blockbuster to the curb.
and
It's
it's
like,
like, guys, we wouldn't have to do this if you guys don't censor people. Like it's like
yeah,
just bad business to censor people. It's
yeah,
just like
and hey, let them fail, and let these new tycoons who we don't know their names yet, but soon they will be as commonplace as Jack Dorsey and Zuckerberg, McDermott. Eventually, they're going to be here, and
have
yeah,
you ever heard the name of Vitalik Buterin?
I've not.
It's a 19-year-old kid at the time created Ethereum. I think it's now 25 or 26, and he's the most well-known name in cryptocurrency. Um, Total nerd, total like not socially adept, but he's like really smart, knows what he's talking about, like a nice guy, and like just genuine, and like he's already a well-known name in cryptocurrency that's going to be heading up these like decentralized app stores on Ethereum, and not heading up because he doesn't have he's everyone's equal power, but like he created this system. So like that's the biggest name in cryptocurrency. It's funny. Did you know that the creator of Bitcoin is still unknown?
The what?
So the person who created Bitcoin, did you know that it was created under an alias, and people still don't know who really created a Bitcoin.
Really?
It's that the alias name is what's called Satoshi Nakamoto, and it was created somewhere in Asia, I believe, and so that's why the smallest amount of Bitcoin is called a Satoshi. So like there's like 18 decimal places in Bitcoin, and the smallest fraction of that is called Satoshi. So if you one Bitcoin is 18 million Satoshis or something like that.
Yeah. That, that's awesome. So no one knows who created it?
No, so there's a few theories out there. There was one guy, I heard a story about one guy who like had one of the first Bitcoin transactions in his wallet, and then he died a couple years later. So people think it might be him, or there's a big mystery.
Hmm.
No one knows for sure.
So so no one's even sure if the guy's still alive.
Yeah, he might still be alive,
That'd be insane if he's dead though.
but also it'll be a like just tutor OG thing. Like this is decentralized. I don't need to show who I am because I'm not important. The
So
important
like,
thing
he
is Bitcoin.
truly is like for the cause.
Yeah,
He
that
truly
would
is
be
like
pretty OG if he.
yeah. That is pretty gangster. That's like
Yeah,
Batman. That's Batman level
yeah,
gangster, right?
yeah.
Fake your death
Batman for
and deuce.
cryptocurrency.
Yeah, Batman of cryptocurrency.
Have you seen on in College Humor? There's a like a joke rap video about against Satoshi Satoshi Nakamoto versus Alexander Hamilton. He was a Federalist who federalized the banks,
No,
and so it's an awesome video. It actually
no.
really helps you understand what Bitcoin is. It's funny too, and they prevent both sides have good arguments. So they like this like came out like 5 years ago. So they like argue in a rap, and it's
Is it epic
hysterical.
epic rap battles?
It's definitely
Yeah, that's
definitely encourage you to check it out.
yeah. Yeah, there's a great one on epic rap battles between Thanos and Oppenheimer about like, ending the
Yeah,
world. That yeah,
I think I
that
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah. That's insane though. That's absolutely insane. So, and I you'll have to excuse my softball questions because I just don't know a lot about it. Or what is most important or sticking out to you right now? Someone that does know it. What's on your horizon with this?
I think the most important thing happening right now that's new in cryptocurrency, it's called something called decentralized finance.
Okay.
And what that means is things like so providing money to people in Venezuela that don't have their own system.
Mhm.
So you can actually um, submit invest your cryptocurrency and earn interest on it. It's called staking. And so with any amount of cryptocurrency, proposed term out, in certain programs, you can sort of invest it and earn interest that you would normally earn in a bank. So since it's decentralized finance, you can have the benefits of having like a being in finance, a bank guy or a person that trades in stocks, but you can earn interest and even take out loans based off of cryptocurrency. And so that's a lot of people in Africa, people in third world countries don't have access to banks. They don't have access to a driver's license that can verify them to be at a bank, but they have an internet connection. So what they can do is, if they want to create wealth for themselves, they work and they earn whatever the currency have submitted to buy a Bitcoin and start finding ways to earn interest on it passively. So it allows poor people, third world countries, to have actually passive income that the rich people have right now.
Okay. What? And this is kind of a out of left field question. What would happen if there's something like a solar flare or like a high altitude nuclear weapon where there's an EMP pulse that knocks out and destroys all electronics?
Yeah.
Is that the end of crypto?
Since it's all online, yes, and you have to have an internet connection in order to transact. I'm not an expert, so on like the actual, but yeah, I think you as a decentralized finance user, you would need to have an internet connection.
Oh,
So I will be at your bunker if that happens.
well, unfortunately, I don't have a bunker. so so what else is big? What else is going on with crypto in 2021?
In 2021, there's actually a new sort of emerging industry called it's called social tokens or non-fungible tokens. So in the past few months, a few rappers, music artists have decided that they're done with signing contracts of big corporations that cut them out of the most of the profits. And they've Lil Yachty, Akon, Soldier Boy the other day came out and said, I'm thinking about creating my own crypto, that are coming out and saying, I want to own what I create. So they put their music on the network, they sell tokens related to that they create, and the people that buy it, the people that interact with it, they don't have to use a third party to set it all up. They don't need Atlantic Records to distribute. They can
Mm-hmm.
distribute themselves through a cryptocurrency network and own what they make. And so it helps them to be creators and sort of cut out the middleman that are taking the lion's share of the profits.
Yeah. So walk me through it. If I were to create TPC coin,
Mm-hmm.
like what? How do you start? What would be the is there any benefit to me? Is it just
So the
I'm
biggest
all
benefit to
yeah.
you specifically is right now you're on YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they control how you're paid, right?
Yeah.
And they take a cut of every the time you get an interaction. They're giving you crumbs in comparison to if you. So if you want to walk you through it, if you want to create your own token, the application that I've been using that rappers have considered and we've actually sent them is called Mintgate, and all you do, you can instantly create your own token, distribute it out to people that are listening to your music or your podcast. Have a community that are interacting and sort of sending it back and forth, and then eventually it's going to launch on the blockchain, and it's going to be traded in the sense that it'll be worth a dollar value. So once you have a community going and it's decentralized and it meets all the basic requirements, it's going to be traded and people can buy TPC coin and pay you on the blockchain for the podcast. And that by that point it'll be, and so instead of it being on YouTube where they take most of the share, you control how you want to price it. If you want to do it free and then you earn TPC and then you can use it. So it's a way that you can create it and sort of own what you make to the extent that you want and sort of start to get paid on that your own way.
Mm-hmm. Fuck. Jesus. Is that the move?
That's the move. Akon went on it. Akon's now doing that. Lil Yachty, Soldier Boy is looking to do it soon. It's 2021 is looking the year of people. There's like a bunch of Fortune 50 companies that are actually having people interact with them and sort of earn different tokens. And and then sell them to make more money. So it's as long as you do it, and it needs to be in a specified way where it vibes with the SEC's rules, that it's decentralized. It is not. It is sort of based on creating value and not hyping the coin to where you're just trying to get rich and then not providing the content. So it needs to be based on content. It needs to be you're giving the users utility, decentralized. But in general, yes, it's very possible, and it's happening right now.
What? Okay. Are cryptos, are so all these different coins, right? Are these, can they be exchanged, like dollars to yen to pounds to
So
pesos
like
to,
so like I was saying, it's once you put it on the blockchain and it goes on to an exchange. It's picked up by an exchange that trades cryptocurrencies. Then it can be exchanged for dollars.
okay. I feel like this is all so beyond me.
It's hard to comprehend. I didn't really comprehend it for months and months, and this is at me reading about it every single day. So it's really hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah. So what's so so we see what's going on in 2021. Where do you forecast? So let's say it's 2003, right? We're still at OLA. I'm bringing in my iPod, my big white iPod with the click wheel. And then we can see where we are in 2021 with like an iPhone 12 Plus or a MacBook Pro or the new M1 chips. What are we looking at 5, 10, 20 years out? Or is it too far out? Do the
No,
possibilities
I think
be
so.
endless?
In cryptocurrency, I think you're looking at the 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 cryptocurrency not being controlled by big mining racks. Computer, whoever has a computer has control. I think you're going to see it be owned by people voting. That's called a proof of stake, or um, you're going to be saying it decentralized more and more, where the people with less and less money can have more and more power,
Mhm.
um, and more sort of be more and more widespread, and sort of that adds the overall value the most. So I think that's the general direction it's going. I think as far as specifics on, I think Bitcoin's still going to be around as an option. I think Ethereum's going to be around as an option. There's other blockchains called EOS and different other blockchains, Cardano, that are alternatives that have lower fees. So I think Ethereum's not the end all be all because they have high fees. So another blockchain with lower fees are it's going to be there's going to be competitive blockchains that charge people less to
Mhm.
transaction on the network. And so I think that the blockchains are going to get even better. Like there's going to be a better Ethereum, there's going to be a better Bitcoin, there's going to be better people can build better products and be
Mhm.
rewarded for it online.
Mhm. Okay. What else is going on?
In
I'm
cryptocurrency,
sorry for coming up short with questions. It's just
you're fine.
crypto is
I can
something that
talk
I
about it all day.
yeah, yeah. So
Um,
take the reins, Jack. What do you want to talk about with this?
so the thing I'm really excited about is not the sort of using the minting your own token is what I've always been passionate about. Obviously, I created Karma credits, which we
Mhm.
talked about previously.
Mhm.
So minting your own token can be used for an artist or a podcaster like yourself, but I'm actually most excited about using a minted token for causes. So for me, I created a community. I'm creating a community around reducing your carbon footprint, and we've all heard about um, buying carbon credits and things that reduce people's carbon footprint, but actually in your daily life, I think the easiest way to reduce the carbon footprint for you as a person is to eat less animal products. I think it's like the statistics is like if you eat a veggie burger instead of a burger for once a week, just once a week, that's equivalent of taking like 1,000 cars off the road. That's
It,
how
it's something like
much
700
animal
gallons. Yeah.
agriculture affects um, so I think so not to go off on a tangent, but so that's one of the things I'm passionate. So I'm trying to help people reduce their carbon footprint by eating less animal products, by flying and driving less, which is not so hard now because we're in COVID, by just buying things they don't need, not buying things they don't need, and I'm going to reward those people with these climate change tokens, and we're going to create a communities around people that reward each other. So once we have a community of people exchanging these tokens and rewarding each other, eventually we're going to be minted on the blockchain, and you can literally see the value in reducing climate change for the world, right?
Mhm.
What's more decentralized than the whole world working together to reduce their carbon footprint and saving the world.
Yeah.
It's not just Elon Musk saving the world; it has to be everyone.
Hmm.
And so another cause I'm going for is called affirmation, where you reward people saying kind words to each other. I think the culture is too toxic, and people value mean words over
Yeah.
kinder words. So I'm trying to have community of people that say kind words to each other are rewarded for that, for just saying kind words to each other. Um, I like causes about fitness. So like if you have a fitness group that you want to reward and incentivize to work out, I create a fitness token. So I think it's really going to be what a friend of mine in crypto called community capitalism, where we have different communities with different passions and interests in different doing good things for communities in different ways, but also earning as a capitalist. So it's not a socialist society. You're earning by providing value, but you're also doing something for the good that's good for the community and essentially the world, right,
Hmm.
at large. And so that's sort of the future is redefining what capitalism means. It's not every man for himself. It's like people working together to accomplish good things around the world, and also creating value and being rewarded for that.
Hmm. Now, for a simpleton like myself, how does that equate into actual wealth? How do I take that? How do I take all those great ideas? How do I quote unquote cash out like Toys R Us, take my tokens and my tickets and go get whatever, a PlayStation? Where does
Sure.
it? Where's the to pull a Catholic term? Where's the transubstantiation? Where's the
Totally. So,
yeah
so like I was saying earlier, once you create these tokens, let's say on Mintgate, like I mentioned earlier, you create a community around the cause, and then you have a thriving community, and it's decentralized enough to where it can go on the blockchain, and then it can be exchanged on an exchange that trades cryptocurrency. So you can go on. Eventually, you'll be accepted by Coinbase or what's called Binance or other cryptocurrency exchange, and you can trade a climate change token for dollars. If people think that having a climate change token is more valuable than having a dollar, they'll pay more dollars for a climate change token. So it's all about what causes that are going to gain value, and what sort of actions are going to be rewarded. And you can eventually, when it's in the right place, you can put it on a cryptocurrency exchange and exchange it for dollars. And also, at any point, you and a friend, let's say a friend of yours thinks they're really valuable, but doesn't have the time to, let's say they're have a physical condition where they have to eat meat, right? But so they could buy the token from you, like Venmo it to you, right? You can send them the token, and then you spend the money on investing in more, or just when the token becomes valuable that people were willing to spend money or sending money for it. Because it's also about one thing I've discovered is also about signaling, right? Not only is it about creating value in systems, but it's also about, like, for example, like in the past 5 years, you would think like that paperback sales would be down to zero. Like I would think that. Like I would think everyone was reading online, but
yeah
actually it hasn't really declined as much. It's because people like having the paperback on their coffee table to show people I'm smart. I read this. Like people
yeah
have books as a signal that they're smart and are literate, right?
Mm.
So if you have, it's literally virtue signaling. So if you have a wallet of, you have karma credits, affirmation, climate change token, it shows someone proof that
who you
it's that
are.
you have done all these actions, are not just saying things, you've done them. So
Yeah.
it's, if that becomes visible, you don't have to like say I've done all these. It's just there, and it's just a signal that you're a good person.
Could could you represent that in something like just social media world, whatever, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, where it's all
Oh
about,
yeah,
you got a blue check mark and you got X followers.
yeah, that's a great idea.
Is there something that you could put on social media things where it's like,
That's a
I've got a red C and
That
that
first of
means
all, that's a fantastic idea. So I'm gonna pitch that to Mintgate, and if you want the credit, feel free to jump on it with me.
sure, sure.
But that's a really, really, really good idea. Like like an affirmation check mark, like the check mark.
Look
Oh,
what I've done.
that's Tommy. That's such a good idea. That's crazy. That's like a really, really good idea for like
Just
different check marks for different coin, like different cause coins. That's so good, Tom. That's
kick
like a
me
$1 million idea. That's for
kick me
marketing.
back
That's really great.
10%, Jack. Kick me back 10%,
I will.
and you can run
I'll
with
tell
it.
you when I raise the $100,000, I'll invest in you fully as a podcaster, and then
Fuck yeah.
we'll go from there. But I'll
Yeah, man.
definitely give you
Take it,
credit, and then if you want to come on and work on it with me, you can. But
sure.
I'm
Take
sure
it and run
you're
with it.
busy.
So, but that
We'll
could
do.
be a thing though, right? Is right because right, you go on
Yes.
Instagram and you look at someone like, again, I'm someone that lives under a rock, but even I know that like The
Yep.
Rock or Selena Gomez, like, and I don't even know I know who The Rock is. I don't even know who the fuck Selena Gomez is, but I know she has like the most followers on Instagram, I think.
Oh, it's such a good idea, Tommy. Yeah, that's good.
So, but to me, like those followers don't mean anything because I'm just like, oh, cool, like you have a big audience, but you're pushing. I get it, you're pushing your perfume or your shampoo or your makeup. I get it. She's
Yeah.
making bank, but is there something where it could be like, you're right, virtue signaling. I have all these books on my desk, right? It would be something like I have a red X or something, and that means that I've used this many chemotherapy coins. I've donated this much money to
Yep.
Sloan Kettering, or
Oh,
I've
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, totally. And I was gonna say something, but I forgot. But yeah, it's a good signal too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because you have to factor in just yeah, I mean human ego, right? People don't just want to do good, they want others to know they did good.
Yeah, and they don't like to have to tell people. So like having it
Yeah.
just up to where people can
It's
see, and
yeah,
it's not
it's
like a thing where it's like I have to tell you about it. It's just
yeah.
there.
I think it's Tim Dillon, the comedian, was like he's like, I don't mind going to like volunteer at homeless shelters. He was like, I was in like a bad cocaine addicted phase in my life. I get it. He's like very successful now. He's like, I get it. And I do go try to contribute because I feel like I need to. I don't want to tell anyone I'm there. He's like, but God damn it. Every once in a while when I see a car drive by, I'm like, I hope that's somebody I know. So it's
Yep.
like, look at Tim.
One of
He's
my
giving soup to the homeless. Yeah.
one of my favorite politicians is Republican or Democrat is Cory Booker, and so Cory Booker throughout his
Right.
tenure as in
Spartacus.
Newark and New Jersey, yeah, he's known for the
Ooh,
Spartacus when he
Spartacus,
came
yeah.
down on the those hearings. But before he was a U.S. senator, he worked in New Jersey as in Newark,
Mm-hmm.
and then at local level, and then in the state level, New Jersey. And so he became a reputation for. So one of the first things he did, he did like a 2 week long stint living in a mobile home to like get his constituents feel for it, like with drug addicts and stuff. And then he like hosted people during Hurricane Sandy. They were like homeless. He went. There's like a guy that on Twitter said like he was caved in from the snowstorm. He like went and shoveled the guy's home out with like a bunch of people helped him, right? And he's like this crazy stories of him like saving a dog from like an igloo or something. Like it's
Yeah.
like so like, but the joke is like he's always going to do it, but he needs to have a camera crew with him. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why not?
Why
We talk about
not?
this with,
Yeah.
with comic credits. It's like if he's only going to do it with the camera crew, then let's do it. Get the camera crew because it's not going to be done otherwise. Like the person still be caved in. The homeless people are going to potentially die during Hurricane Sandy. Like
Mm-hmm.
we talked about this earlier with comic credits, but it's like it's not a bad thing to
No.
have the innate need to people recognize you for your accomplishments and the things you've done.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not a bad thing at all. That's what I've always thought is like when you see people online giving shoes to the homeless and they're like, they're only doing that for their Instagram likes. And in my mind, I'm like,
Very
who
nice.
cares? It's getting done. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, Cory Booker actually did give credit where credit's due. Brigadier General Robert Spalding, who was on my podcast, episode 161, who wrote the book Stealth War about China, their asymmetrical warfare that against the U.S., talked about like knockoffs used on Amazon, and then like the As Seen on TV company, they were getting really fucked, and they couldn't get Amazon to take down their like their what am I looking at? What's the word when you make something when you copy something? I'm having a stroke right now. Like like a knockoff iPhone, like a
Yeah,
duplicate.
like a counterfeit.
Yeah, counterfeit. There we go. He, the guy who created the company, as seen on TV, couldn't get Amazon to take the counterfeits off. They were like, "It's not our problem." They actually got, I'll give credit where credit's due. They got Cory Booker to call up Amazon. He was like, "Hey, stop fucking like playing ball with China." So, I mean, just a little side note, yeah. But who
Yeah,
cares? Who cares? Who cares if he did it so he could say he did it? The fact is he did it. And I don't think that's a
totally.
bad thing at all.
And like I think in encouraging that actually it's only going to make more people want to do good things. Like
Yeah, who
it's an
cares?
incentive.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, because you know who doesn't care? The fucking homeless person who's getting shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't give a shit. He only did it for clout. I don't care. My feet aren't on the cold sidewalk anymore. Fuck off.
Exactly.
I don't care if it was for clout or if it was Mother Teresa. Like, that guy doesn't give a shit.
And
That's kind of
yeah,
my
this
mindset.
is my whole thing of like comment on the things you see. Don't assume intention. Like it's like just like the great thing is the people, the thing that's being done, not the intention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but to get it done, sometimes you need that, right? You got to play.
Yeah,
You
totally.
have to play ball with.
Incentives drive everything. If we can attach
Yeah,
incentives to good deeds or good things, or people doing nice things for each other, or people lowering climate change, all those things help the world. And if we can attach incentives to those things, that's great.
yeah, right. It's like
Um,
Mr. Beast planting a million trees a couple years ago. Like Mr. Beast is like a attention whore, huge YouTube channel, but the reality is he planted a million trees. Like, who cares how it got done or why it got done or to what ends it was done for? You
yeah,
know?
yeah. Mr. Beast is an interesting character. I've discovered in the last few months, but he did post something about wanting to
Mm-hmm.
invest
Yeah,
or be invested in.
you sent that to me. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, he's an interesting character. Hey man, he's wealthy as shit. You gotta respect it. Um, so
And that's the thing about these cryptocurrencies and these decentralized systems. They allow people at young ages without just to earn and just to have freedom to earn. Like you don't have to, if you're 12 or 15 and you know how to code and you know how to do Bitcoin and mine Bitcoin, you can earn Bitcoin, and it's not permission by your age, or it's just permission by with the value you provide. And it's not permission by arbitrary things that don't really matter as far as what you're doing.
could you do a Bitcoin for like people who it would be like people that can't pay for their medical treatment? Yeah, because that's the number one cause of bankruptcy in the United States is medical bills, and the majority of those bankruptcies are from people that have health insurance already. Could you do something where like you can help pay off people's medical bills and
Yeah.
get some virtue signaling coin?
So there's a lot of like Bitcoin charities where you can it's called BitGive and a few others where you can just send people Bitcoin and but that's sort of what we're trying to create at Karma Credits is like rewarding people that do good things and just having a coin that represents that you did that. So you can have you can like create like a donation coin, or you could create like a American Cancer Society coin where like you send people that donate to the ACS, American Cancer Society, American Cancer, that's sort of like a badge that you did that, and
Mm-hmm.
that can just be an ACS, a purple ACS check mark. That could be, yeah, that's sort of, and the cool thing is it shows the amount. Not only that you did that, you can have 10, 100, 1,000 coins based on how many you did. So it's like a spectrum of
Yeah.
how verified you are.
Yeah.
It's sort of
Yeah. It's not just right. It would be like the size of the blue check mark gets bigger and bolder or
yeah.
something. Can have little animations on it and shit. Yeah. Yeah. Is there any market for like a COVID coin?
I mean, there's definitely, I'm sure, an argument maybe you can create a token for people that are helping people out with COVID. Uh, if you're caretaking for someone with sick with COVID, or you donate to COVID charities, you can create a token that rewards that for sure.
Now, is
It may
there
not exist in 2 years, but for now, for sure.
yeah. Now, is there do these things max out or not max out? Like I don't know what word I'm looking for. Like do you want to avoid making something that's too much of a niche, right? Like you wouldn't create like a January 6th Capitol riot coin
Totally.
that was one
Yeah,
and done.
that's the question. When I first created karma credits, this is a very broad. Karma credits is just good karma, right? Of doing a good deed, which is a very vague statement. But I found that uh, creating an affirmation coin, which rewards kind words, could be a specific use case. So it's always a question. I'm not a business marketing expert. I've marketed my own coin for the past year and just learned the ropes, and it's been just trial and error. But I think there's going to be made for broad and niche in different cases. It just depends.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Jack, we got you right. You could do like another 10 minutes.
yeah, it's fine.
Um, I want you to take the reins. What is what's on your mind with everything? Just everything and anything and everything. What's intriguing you? What are you ramped up to do? What are you trying to get done? What are your Like by the end of this year, I want to get to like 10,000 subscribers. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do that. Like I want to move out. Like I have my own goals. What's
Yeah.
juicing you up? What gets you going?
Well, what's really exciting is that at Token Tax, it's such a new space, and our client base is like, it's growing so fast, because there's so many people coming into cryptocurrency. They don't know how it's taxed. I actually put out yesterday. I put out an article yesterday how Ethereum fees, are they deductible on your tax return or not? And it's a very open question. I had conversation with people at my company, and it's just a very, we had disagreements, and it's, the IRS hasn't said anything about it. So helping people out with sort of understanding it. But I'm really kind of like, in helping people understand, sort of in layman's terms, helping the IRS understand, because the IRS is going to have a different perspective than the person that's traded crypto or knows what crypto is. Or so that's what we're doing. Our goals are just, it's my first tax season with them, and just, we're going to have so many clients. So it's just keeping up with that and providing a lot of value, through professionally through them. And then whatever time I do have, helping out Mitigate with, just different community causes. I'm passionate about. So I was passionate. I worked in the nonprofits and helping. Obviously, I'm a cancer survivor, and
Mm-hmm.
helping people cancer fundraise. And so incentivizing through blockchain, incentivizing people, helping people with cancer diseases or other diseases, and as interests or side hobbies or different things. I like crypto for good, as I say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so just it's such a cool space in the sense that it's definitely the future. And getting rid of censorship, decentralizing the ability to gain wealth, as even improving capitalism, because you're even helping people. That capitalism was fantastic for getting people out of poverty over the past 50, 100 years. But this new form of capitalism, where you can help people that don't even have access to the barriers, as you say, like the barriers of like, so like liberals or Democrats say that the barriers of capitalism is people don't have the ability for the wealth. There's a wealth gap, from black people to white people because of redlining, right? And people can't necessarily afford homes because of that wealth gap, which is unfair. Well, what blockchain does is it helps those people affected by the wealth gap or unfair practices, or like all the bad stuff that's happened in the past, to catch up, into without even having to need generational wealth. We're having to need, to be set up. All you need is an internet connection, and just start creating value. It removes barriers for people, and it just helps people. We've had like a little bit of a K-shaped recovery in COVID, because people have the infrastructure to survive, and some don't. And so it helps people not need the infrastructure to create wealth, and will help everyone just doing an upward trajectory to generate wealth, and also good things for the world. Um, like all the causes I'm talking about, for example, like there's something called the Maslow hierarchy of needs, where
Mm-hmm.
like you definitely need to solve your food and shelter and your basic needs, clothing, before you can focus on helping the world. I was very lucky in that I grew up in a well-off family with good schools and a good background, and I'm trying to help the world and help people. And I've got a lot of friends that are just trying to help people that don't have, or less fortunate, which is awesome. And I'm trying to do that through fundraising, incentivizing through charities to donate money for people that are less fortunate off. But I think the system is, the cool thing is this: the cryptocurrency system as a whole, not just the people in it, the system as a whole is going to help people, poor people that don't have access to resources, gain wealth and interact and provide value to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think it's fantastic. And what's astounding me about cryptocurrency is I'm an optimist, and I think that people are good and going to work together to do good things. But even if I wasn't, you can't deny, like, so the idea of Bitcoin and Ethereum before it was launched, right? I would see a fair argument in 2005 that it should be launched because people are bad and people are going to use these whole systems to do bad things for each other. Because if we decentralize the power, the average person's a jerk. So, but the opposite has happened so far. So far,
Really?
the opposite started up, because it's like all these decentralized finance, the things that are happening in 2020 have helped so many people. And the base thing of like, if everyone has the power to decide what's good or what's not, people are deciding what's good. And I've said this before, maybe on your podcast or other podcasts. We in our society, we trust each other every day. Like, I trust my restaurant person that I order delivered, that they're
Yeah.
not going to steal my credit card. I trust other drivers not to crash into me every day.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
we need to start trusting each other like again, and because people are good and proven by blockchain, because everyone having the power are creating these great things for people. We haven't had one really instance of like we've had people hack and try to steal currency, but on an individual basis. But as a system, the whole system works to get bad actors out of the system. It's like it's astonishing. It's
yeah,
really it's inspiring. It's something that it gives me a lot of hope for the world in a time that we're like on like the near brink of a civil war because of cancel culture and all these things. It's like it gives me hope that people are actually good and want to interact and help each other. Like it's a true antidote for in a hopeful way of how the system can solve things.
yeah. It's a barrier against falling down the slippery slope of like nihilism and everything's fucked. The black pill, like, what's the
Yes.
point? Everyone's shit. It's because that's a terrible hole to go down. And you're right, because I mean, I remember reading something years ago where you could like punch in your home address and then like where you work, and like based on what your commute was, you could see how many people every day you trusted your life to. And it
Oh,
was like,
really? That's a
oh
great.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't say
This is back in college. I think you probably still find it, but like you could do they would factor in like how many municipal or how many like county workers like pave your roads, all right? No potholes.
Yep.
Okay. That would be like a tiny thing. You'd be like, maybe you're not gonna die. What about your street lights? You're okay. You're hoping those are timed right, that you're not going to get
So true.
blindsided, right? And then it's like, yeah, it's like lines painted on highways. Are you going over bridges? Oh, you're going to the airport now. Was it the jet fuel checked? Is the cabin
Oh my God,
pressurized? Is
so
the
true.
TSA there? Yeah. Are you going to the doctor? What are you eating today? Are you
I have
eating
to tell this
fish?
to my
Yeah.
fiance and other people I know that are very skittish about worries. I'm like, do you realize how many things that you already trust people with? Like, and the world's
No,
great.
yeah, yeah.
I cut you off. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, is no, 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 no. You're fine. It's right. It's people who are like, I'm a germaphobe, and it's like if you have no idea what
You have no idea how many germs you consumed like in the last 5 minutes.
in the
Like,
last second. You have no
yeah,
idea the different species that are from the top of the microphone to the bottom. That are on
exactly.
my hands, on my camera, on just everything. I went to the gym. Did
And
I touch the
and
door?
there's a study done like in 2019 of like um in 2019 the neighborhoods are safer than ever. Like 20 years ago, like actual statistics of people being kidnapped or being murdered in residential neighborhoods are down by ever. But in the last 20 years, Halloween trick or treating is way down because people don't trust each other. Why don't they trust each other? It's because
The
they have
news.
more access to the information.
Yeah.
So like, so like, so like, it's like you have no idea how much like you like it's back then like you're we're so much safer than we were 20 years ago, but you assume because you see everything and you're skittish about that one thing. It's like everything you do in life, there's risks and there's trade-offs, but like you're fine. Like there's not a substantial risk in life, and as far as doing normal things that doing the normal things in life carry a lot more risk than you realize, and it's just it's crazy.
Yeah. It's also, yeah, it's every year since 1945, the percentage of the human population killed due to warfare or secondary, I guess, ripple effects of warfare has decreased every single year since 1945, when actually
Yep.
from August 9th, when we dropped the second atomic bomb on Nagasaki. Is
Yeah.
It's gone down every, that includes Korea, that includes Vietnam, that includes Grenada, Desert Storm, that includes Iraqi freedom, global war on terror, 9/11, COVID.
Yeah.
It's, yeah,
So what should be focused on is the progress we're making, and not the gruesome nature that's smaller than it was 20 years ago that you're now seeing. Like the emphasis should be that we're getting better and
yeah,
like we're making progress. It's good. Yeah.
yeah. It's like the argument, like people are like, oh, did you see in the news, like there was a Tesla crash, the self-driving crashed. And to me
God.
that just makes me believe in Tesla more. And people say why, I'm like, the fact that a Tesla crash makes the news. Car
Yep.
crashes don't make the news. Someone could have got blindsided a
thirty
mile
thousand
down my
car
house.
crashes every year. My fiance's stepmom the other day was driving, and she was 15 cars back from a crash of an guy that my age, 30 years old, that was in a gruesome car crash. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just in the middle, sandwiched, and got killed. It's just like
Sheet
30,000 people die of car crashes every year. No one talks about it,
in
but
the United
doing this,
States.
you risk your life every time you go into a car. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah,
It's 2 people per state per day die in a car crash.
yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make the news. Yeah, so it's kind of like that, right? So we take that Tesla analogy, and I say, well, that's why I believe in Teslas, or a
And
plane crash. Yeah, the fact that a plane crash makes the
speaking of
news.
speaking of news, these narratives controlled by central people that have biases. What if I told you that I'm also working on, or like have worked on in the past, a decentralized news app
Oh,
where
fuck yeah.
you get paid to do nonpartisan reporting in cryptocurrency. You get the network rewards you if you put out a nonpartisan or non-narrative, just a fact, not just like a nonpartisan uh, article. So it's just like if you decentralize reporting apps on Ethereum or other cryptocurrency app stores, that's gonna drive down that narratives too, and have like more about like truthful, nonpartisan information.
That that I think is I think that's the best work that you could possibly be doing right now, is just to have
The world needs it. I
more than
like
anything
a
else.
couple, a couple weeks ago, there was like that whole thing with like Facebook and Twitter, everyone banning Donald Trump on the same day. And people that hate Donald Trump that I know were like, this shouldn't have been happening, and this is really scary. And I messaged the person that I was like talking about doing it with, and I was like, if there was ever a time to do this, it's
Ever,
now.
it's right now. This is
Yeah,
you are in the go time. This is go
but
zone.
there are a few like some that are like focused on censorship. Twitch focuses on it's already app that's already working that they can't be censored, and it's more of like a Twitter that's uncensored Twitter. But
Mhm.
there's not a news app yet that's decentralized, but there will be one soon. Whether it's through my friends at Govern or other elsewhere, it's very relevant. And um, I think like the polls that I was doing research on when I was working on it was like there's never been a time in history where people trust the news media less than there is now. It's insane.
It's insane. It is insane, and it's yeah. Is now if there's ever a time for that, Jack, now is the time.
Yeah,
This is your moment to shine.
yeah. I have a friend that's like works on a political cryptocurrency that has been doing it for years, and I pitched him that yeah, you're working on it together. But yeah, maybe one of those side hobbies we can get that going. But it's for sure. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people about it. They're like really excited. Like this needs to happen for sure.
Absolutely. Fuck yeah, man. Um, Jack, can you any links you want me to put in the description or stick you in the top
All
comments?
good. Yeah, all good. Just working it. Maybe I just put out a article on token tax from Togo Tax yesterday about how Ethereum's taxed. So if you want to just go to my Twitter page, it's like my last post. But feel free to grab that if you wanted to put that. But
Sure.
other than that, it's all good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was gonna say, yeah, text me a link and I'll just slap it on there because I always
Sure.
just put it in the top comment. Um, and as always, man, my podcast is your podcast. Walk on whenever you like.
Enjoy it. I
It's
love
always
talking to
I like talking to you too, buddy. And I enjoy talking to you because I legitimately enjoy talking to people who are more intelligent than me. And you
you.
are. You don't have to be humble. Like you are. You're objectively more intelligent than I am, and I thoroughly appreciate it because it's like basketball, right? If you're playing in like the church league and you're better than everyone else, you're not going to get better. So what does someone like
Totally.
a what did Jordan Brom
It,
do when we were in middle school? He goes and plays with varsity because he gets better,
I
rubs off on them.
I agree with the sentiment that if you're the smartest person in the room, like you're in the wrong room. Like you need to be
Exactly.
around people. Yeah, it's
It's
great.
not good,
It's a
and that's why I like talking to you is because you run circles around me, and to me that's good. I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm like absorbing it. It's like you're giving off like a
yeah.
radiation, and I'm like I'm sucking up your intelligence. I'm like, give it to me. So I appreciate it, Jack. You're always welcome on here, and yeah, brother, keep fighting the good fight. I love what you're doing. Go take that that virtue signaling, that check mark thing. Go
We'll
take
do.
that
And
and run, man.
let me know if you want to mint a TPC coin as
Sure,
well.
sure. I don't care. I'm down. I'm down to fuck with it.
I love it.
Love it. All right, buddy. I love
All
you,
right.
Jack. Stay
Love
safe
you, Tom.
and God bless. God bless America. And 2021 is going to be better because 2020 we can't go any worse. I don't think.
Yeah.
Knock on
Pending
wood.
pending a civil war, it will be better.
Knock on wood.
I'll see you later.
All right, brother. Take it easy.